Good evening. Welcome to the Danvers Conservation Commission meeting for October the 28th, 2021. We, as the Conservation Commission, operate under the Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, and Chapter 26 of the Town of Danvers General Bylaw, the Wetlands Protection Bylaw. We'll call each applicant, and they can present his or her request, and the board will go ahead and ask questions and make comments on the project. After that, we will accept questions from the audience. Because this is a public meeting, it is required by law that you give your name and address first. Although we may disagree on the issues raised, all persons present during this meeting are expected to be civil to all other meeting attendees. This includes the members of the commission, staff, abutters, concerned citizens and property owners, and project applicants. We also request that you confine your questions to the project and only as it pertains to the Wetlands Act. We cannot handle, nor do we have jurisdiction regarding such things as noise or traffic. All problems not related to the Wetlands Protection Act and the Town of Danvers Wetlands Protection Bylaw must be taken up with their other appropriate boards. We'll begin the meeting by taking a roll call. I am Peter Wilson. Vanessa Curran?
Here.
Hey, I shut my phone off.
Me too.
Vanessa, can you do that again?
Could you hear me? I'm here.
I can barely hear.
You can attest that she's here, though, right?
Yeah, she is here.
Okay.
We'll figure out
Chelsea King is not here at the moment. Ann McGill.
Here.
Joseph O'Donnell. Michael Splain.
Present.
Ken Wally. All right, so we have 4 members in attendance, so that's enough. That's a quorum. First item on the agenda is 69 North Street, DEP file number 14-1369. The applicant has requested a continuance to our proposed November 18th, 2021 meeting. And as part of that, I just want to read a little note that the engineers for Mr. Hernandez had forwarded to Georgia. So, dear Georgia, as discussed, we respectfully request a continuance for tonight's continued public hearing to your meeting scheduled for to your next meeting scheduled for November 18th, 2021. This will allow us to address comments raised by the Planning and Engineering Office. We will be sure to pass along revised plans as soon as they become available. We are also planning to meet with concerned abutters before this next meeting. In the meantime, please let me know if you or the commission members have any questions. Thanks. Chris Sparages. That being said, would someone make a motion that we continue this hearing until November 18th?
I make a motion that we continue the hearing for 69 North Street, Department File Number 14-1369 to the next proposed meeting.
Motion made. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Next up is 69 North Street, the subdivision roadway, DEP file number 14-1370. The applicant is John Hernandez, and once again, the applicant has requested a continuance until our next meeting proposed for November 18th. So if someone can make a motion, we will continue that hearing as well.
I make a motion that we continue the 69 North Street Department File Number 14-1370 to the next proposed meeting, November 18th.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Okay, number 3 on the agenda is a continued public hearing, an amendment request for Lot 6, Colin Tony Drive, DEP file number 14-1332. And who is here to represent the applicant? Is Mr.
Good evening,
Cameron?
Mr. Chair. This is Scott Cameron. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm getting a little bit of feedback on my end, so I'll do my best. So good evening. So for the record, Scott Cameron with the Moore & Cameron Group, 66 Elm Street, Danvers, Massachusetts. Here on behalf of Beaverbrook
Scott, can I
Woods,
just interrupt for
LLC.
1 second, please?
Yep.
Georgia, is there any way that they could increase that volume?
Yeah, could you make it louder, please? Or I'm not sure if Scott may have stepped back too because of his feedback, so maybe we can give it a second.
I'm sorry,
I don't know
sir,
if this
it's
is
just,
any better.
really difficult
Yeah,
to hear
that
you.
sounds better.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Much better.
So this is a continuation, just to give a brief recap. The order conditions that were issued for the development of 2 single-family homes on these parcels, and we have this in the next meeting, had a condition that asked us to come back to you when we had the final lot and house designs completed. And this is similar and in keeping with best practices of the commission on other recent similar new construction projects in town, not just this subdivision, but other subdivisions as well. And so what came out of the meeting was a request to prepare information on the riverfront area alteration that was occurring on the lots. And I guess I misunderstood a little bit to the extent I went back to the original order conditions and what we permitted, and I provided you with a summary, which I'll present to you momentarily. Georgia contacted me today and also asked for yesterday rather, and asked for the areas on each of the lots, and I have those areas as well, which I can present to you. And this is the riverfront area as it falls on each of the lots. So I don't, am I able to share screen, Georgia, or do you have the?
Yeah, I believe you can just go ahead and share.
I assume, Mr. Chair, that's okay for me to do that. I was going to bring up the figure I submitted with my email last week. Okay, did that come up on the screen?
Yes.
Perfect. So when we initially permitted the development of the project and that which occurs within the riverfront area, we were doing so at a time when this is existing. These were existing lots, and we permitted as such to make sure that we looked at the total riverfront area on the property as a whole. There, as you know, there's multiple lots, and the riverfront area falls on multiple different, house lots in the development. So you can see in this figure, Lot 8, we have been before you recently. This is one of the lots that I mentioned that we came back with the final house design and the lot design and presented that for a modification to the commission, which you subsequently approved. And that lot is under construction. This lot, you can see in the yellow here, has a little bit of riverfront area on it. Lot 7, which is this shape, the irregular shaped lot here, has some of the yellow and some of the green riverfront. That's riverfront area in the lot. Lot 6 has riverfront area on it. And then Lot 5, a lot that you guys will not see. This lot was designed completely out of the riverfront area. No jurisdictional buffer zone work or order conditions needed for that lot. It's under construction, actually, and that also has riverfront area on it. So the reason we filed permits initially, this was before the applicant had closed the land, before any work had started, is we wanted to lock in the alteration as it existed on the lots at the time of filing. And the significance of this is that we look at the total project, and we don't, enable an opportunity for, say, Lot 5 to come and say, well, I want to take advantage of what I'm allowed to alter on my lot here and clear some of this riverfront area after we've already built Lot 6 and 7, and maybe Lot 8 does the same thing. And this would be after the fact. This would be down the road, a new notice of intent filing. But the way we did it is we effectively locked in the alteration within the riverfront area so that not only are lots 6 and 7 locked in with what you approved, but also lots 8, which is already approved under construction and has no work in the riverfront area, and Lot 5, which, again, you'll never see. So neither one of those lots could come back to you in the future and say, I'd like to alter riverfront area, because you've already awarded the 10% alteration that the Wetlands Protection Act authorizes you to approve for alteration in the riverfront area. And that's significant, because effectively your jurisdiction gets expanded a little bit into areas that you may not ordinarily have jurisdiction. So I think that's all a positive thing. So with the submittal of the amended plans to you, we did present it as the alteration on lot 6 and 7. What we presented was we're kind of switching the alteration from lot 6 and lot 7. They're kind of opposite of what you initially approved. However, the work is still occurring within the riverfront area, and the work is still occurring more specifically on the title of the land that these orders are attached to. So the order conditions actually encumbers a portion of what is now the road and a portion of lots 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the other so that would be order 14-1332. And the other order actually encumbers all the lots in the subdivision, all 8 lots it encumbers. And that's, again, we did that on purpose so that this would all be locked in. It was kind of fixed at that point in time. So yes, I guess to an effect, we are moving alteration between the 2 parcels, but for what the orders were issued for, we are not. We're keeping it within the confines of those orders. Most of the alteration was on the green here you see, a little bit in the yellow, and I outlined that in my email, which I sent along. So the orders were very specific here as well in doing that, because this is what we had discussed back. This was December 2019. This is exactly the path that we had plotted out with the commission. At the time, I believe several of you were on the board at that time. I'm just going to pull up the email so we can look at that. So can everybody see the text on the screen now?
Yes.
So these text blocks appear in the order conditions for each of the lot, and you can see they very specifically tie together the 2 lots, so they work together. The orders reference each other in this condition, and the alteration, as you can see, is tied to the original title. You can see how this permit was issued to 305R, and this one was issued to 303 to 309, 305R. And also 3. There's no riverfront alteration on the other lot, but it does encumber it, which is 313R. So the mechanism is in place. This is what we had always scripted out from the start, and it's there to do this. And basically, the conclusion of what we are proposing is we're still within the 10%. We are switching the alteration between the 2, I guess, building lots, but within the lots that the orders encumber, it's effectively remaining the same. And overall, we're slightly reducing the footprint. It's only 16 or so square foot, so I would say it's kind of de minimis. I would say it's the same, but certainly no more as far as the impact of alteration in the riverfront area. And I said I also had the individual. I do have the individual areas for each lot, which I can share with you. So I know you're interested in that. So you should see an Excel spreadsheet pop up on your screen.
Yep, we can see it.
So lot 5 contains a little under 27,000 square feet of alteration. This is the lot. You guys actually won't see this one. But you have secured in perpetuity the riverfront area. Nobody can ever touch that. Lot 8 is the other one that's already approved under construction. There's 1,838 square feet of riverfront area on that lot. And then the construction lot 6 and 7, which we're here before you following the order conditions requiring to update you with the final house and lot designs. Lot 6 has roughly 12,385, and lot 7, 23,273, about a half acre on that lot. So again, those are all the numbers. But again, I want to go back and emphasize, from the very beginning of this, we wanted to do everything we could to minimize impact within the riverfront area. We took an aggressive approach with the lot designs. at the time. We knew we were going to come back with the final lot designs. We did go actually before the selectmen again, which was a request of the commission to try and move or relocate an easement or right of way. The selectmen, weren't interested in doing that. So we did put forth a considerable effort, and I think what's important is, the impact to the riverfront area is equivalent to what was approved. I would argue it's slightly less, and I think the mechanism in place for you guys to certainly act on our amendment request, and respectfully, that is what we are hoping to get to tonight, is your favorable approval of that amendment. And I think that's the extent. I do have the plan here. I can pull it up if you guys would like a refresher on that, Mr. Chair.
All set. Thank you, Scott. I just have a couple general questions, and then I'm going to turn it over to the individual members of the board for any further comments. You mentioned that there's an OOC, Scott, that encumbers all the lots. Could you just
Correct.
elaborate on that a little bit? That doesn't sound familiar to me.
Yeah, this is, pull that back up. So, as you are aware, when you issue an order of conditions, the first thing we're asked to do is record that order on the title of the land. So we have to provide Georgia, before we start construction, with the recording information that we've recorded. That mechanism is the commission's insurance policy, to make sure that the work gets done properly and that they can go back and they have that order to go back to. You can't sell the lot until that is cleared up, that is certified, or they'll have to put in substantial escrows or whatever mechanisms. But that is why that there. The other document, the opposite of that, is a certificate of compliance. So when we have a new construction of single-family homes such as this, when they close and they transfer title, the orders are recorded on the original title. So if you look at where this is recorded and what is attached to, it is attached to these parcels of land, and that's what's highlighted in blue and pink here. So even though you weren't looking at everything, you were looking at everything. That's where the orders are attached. And this comes up, I've seen this on, I'll see this on a subdivision that's 15 years old. Somebody will call up and say, hey, there was an order of conditions for the road, and, the developer never closed it out, and it's still open. I say, well, it's for the road. Well, yeah, but it still encumbers the lot. And so we have to go in and ask for partial order conditions or whatever and try to clean that up. So this does, it does happen regularly. We'll get calls like this all the time. Although the calls have decreased as these things have gotten a little more efficient at making sure the COCs are closed out. So hopefully that answers your question.
Oh, yes, it did. Thank you. My second question is, you were here last, was it September, middle of September?
I think we were August. I think at the end of August meeting, maybe the 26th.
Okay. And we had a request for the square footage for the individual lots made at that meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And you agreed to provide it. And then it was only provided this afternoon. Is there any particular reason for that? Do you have this information handy?
Other than me dragging my feet, all I can say is I'm working till midnight most days of the week. It's just been incredibly busy, and I appreciate the commission's patience in getting that to you.
Yeah, it's just that I don't think it's fair to us to be hit with the information we've been asking for at 4 p.m. on the day of the meeting.
2 months.
Well, I did provide. I misunderstood. I went back and I provided the alteration on the lots to which the orders are recorded. So that's what I presented in last week's email, which I sent in on Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That was a misunderstanding on my part as to what you were looking for.
Okay, I'm going to let the individual members of the board have their turn with questions. Mike, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. We're starting with Lot 6, right? Are you there, Scott?
Yes, I'm here.
All
Yep.
right.
Yeah, this hearing is all just Lot 6.
Yeah. So, Scott, there's an increase in the construction of the house. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm just going to bring up the plan real quick for you. Yeah, so on this particular lot, you're looking at lot 6, so I overlaid the original house. So the red line here is the original house footprint, and the gray line is the proposed, and the blue would be the riverfront.
All right, could you point out the riverfront with respect to each house?
So the blue line is the riverfront.
We're just doing 6 right now, Mike. Just-
Yeah, this is, are you showing proposed 6 and your request for amended 6?
Correct. So the red is the original, and I'll just recap it quickly. So the red, this line represents the limit of work.
Scott, can you zoom in a little bit and just
can't.
show one house?
Yeah,
There we
'cause I
go.
think it's
Yep.
confusing that.
That helps.
At the top of the
Yep.
screen was the next lot.
It's tough for me to see what you guys can see on your end. I'm picturing a massive screen, and
Okay.
my
so
head
we're
looks
looking
huge
at,
on this. So
proposed
the
amended
red
lot
is the
6,
limit of
correct?
work. So this got pulled back considerably. This is the new limit of work. They added
Scott,
a pool.
I'm sorry, Chairman, do you mind if I just clarify? So the bold line here, that's showing the outline of the new proposed dwelling. Within that bold line, you see that thin red line right here that the mouse
Yeah,
is
I
on?
do.
That's showing the original approved dwelling. And that blue line, and then from the blue line right, going towards the right of the plan, that's the riverfront area. So
And
here's
that's how
Scott
much-
showing
Does
them on.
that show how much further we're extending to the riverfront area?
So from the blue line towards the riverfront is, the bold would be your new addition, and the red is what what the commission approved previously.
Yeah.
It is a little hard to decipher, I
The
will.
blue arc, Mike, or George's,
Yeah, so,
just so I can clarify, this is,
no, I see
the
it
original
now.
was just this proposed little sliver here
Yeah.
of work within the riverfront, and now there's all of this.
Yeah.
Well, based on that alone, I would not approve the amendment. I'll tell you, it's an alteration, and it's significant, and it could create a greater impact to the riverfront area. There's more construction involved. I wouldn't approve it. That's all I have.
There's significantly less clearing in the riverfront area, and you know, I don't think you were at the initial presentation of this, but the other changes to this plan that are an improvement is the original driveway used to slope directly out towards there. Even though it was out of it, the driveway runoff would have gone towards the river. This has been redesigned so the driveway goes away. 100% of it goes away, so you don't have any more driveway runoff. We've added 2 additional roof dry wells, pick up roof runoff. So there's 2 here, and there was originally 1 on the plan here, which is in the same location, so that
But
stayed.
that's a different impact runoff compared to what you're proposing.
Well, it's all impact, right? So the bigger thing is the footprint. So the trees we're preserving. The area of impact is significantly less. We've pulled that way back. The imperviousness is mitigated with the dry wells. So we're ensuring that we're meeting the groundwater recharge, and we're improving the stormwater runoff. And this is all covered. All these are looked at as far as the Wetlands Protection Act standards for riverfront area. As far as what you're looking at, stormwater is a part of that. It is important, as is groundwater recharge.
And you're also proposing a pool now.
There is a pool proposed. Yep, there is a pool proposed.
Bottom line, Scott, and I'm going to speak for the other, well, I'm not speaking for the other
Well,
members, but I
you're not
think they're
speaking
gonna-
for the others, you are.
I think what we're trying to say is that this is quite a large redesign. I mean, you're advocating all these different changes and all, and you want us to approve that in an amendment. And I think, like I said, not to speak for the other members, but at least personally, I would like to see this in another NOI. This is, I mean, what you're proposing is a big change, and to get that under the guise of an amendment, I don't think is the right way to go.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I guess from our perspective, there's some precedent to making similar changes that we've done through amendments. We actually we're unable to file an amendment. We can't do that. That would defeat the purpose of how we permitted this initially. It would open up a lot of issues with exposing Lot 5 and Lot 8 to altering in the riverfront area. It would kind of undo everything we did, and we don't think it's even possible to file a new notice of intent. We believe we have to work under these existing orders, following what was discussed with the commission at the time. This was all expected. We knew this was going to be coming, and we did put a significant amount of due diligence in trying to minimize and avoid the impacts in the riverfront area. And I think that speaks through loudly with these plans. We do have a public hearing. We can take comment. We can do everything here the same as we could with the different filing, except I'm telling you that we can't file a new notice of intent. That's not an option for us, because it changes the significance of that. And I believe you know this, but filing a new notice specifically for this lot would depreciate the area that would ordinarily be allowed to be altered on this particular parcel. So you take that away here, but then that area, where's that area going to go? Well, somebody else is going to take up that area. It's probably going to be Lot 5 or probably going to be Lot 8, and there's going to be impacts coming elsewhere. We believe it's right to keep it right here. This is here. It's an open public hearing.
One lot to another. But bottom line is that I personally do not feel comfortable handling this through an amendment. This is a pretty significant change, and I think it calls for another NOI. I'm not sure why you say you're so adamant about not doing another NOI, but I think that's what we want to see.
The Wetlands Protection Act draws a line in the sand in 1996 when the rivers protection standards were added in. And before 1996, we can do things as we do it here. After 1996, we have to do it differently. And again, the significance of that is we kept the impacts in the riverfront area limited to Lot 6 and 7 following that procedure, specifically prohibiting alteration on the other lots perpetually, that nobody could ever come back and do alteration on those other lots for that reason. So we kept it here on these two lots. We don't have an option to file a new NOI on these, and because it changes the standard, we wouldn't be able to build both of these lots. It's just that's just how it boils down. We wouldn't be able to do it. So we have an existing permit. This was the course of action laid out. There was closings, conveyances, everything happened based on this path, and we really can't change that now. And even if Mr. Colantoni wanted to, the lender that has the mortgage on all this wouldn't permit it. So we're trying and pleading, to try and find a way to work through. If you have comments or suggestions on things that would minimize, that you think would minimize and get you there on the threshold where you're comfortable, I'd really like to talk about those.
Yeah. Okay. Let me, are you all set, Mike?
Yes.
All right, let me, Ann, any questions or comments?
Yes, this is 2021, not 1996, and there's been significant changes and things that we have to be concerned about with the river. And your change here for Lot 6 is a very large development. I would want to see an NOI on it. We are not looking at, just building wherever in 2021. We have to be concerned about the riverfront area and its protections. And so I feel very strongly that you need an NOI, and spend time telling us what you have done and what you're planning to do for this particular area that will also protect the riverfront.
Okay, just a point of clarification, Georgia, these are approved lots
Yes,
to begin
these
with.
lots
So
have been
they
subdivided.
still could build what's been approved.
They can approve the plan that's been, they can build
They
the
can build
approved
that,
plan
but if
that's.
they want to make these changes, we're
They would
hearing
Correct.
that.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I understand we have approved permits on these, and we would very much like to build out those approved permits, but we went forward with the designs of those lots based on what the commission wanted us to do. We knew full well that there was an easement there. We felt strongly that it made sense to relocate that easement. We feel strongly that there may not even be any rights to that easement, by others, but went through the effort to try and change that, knowing full well that the answer could be no. We had a lot of discussion about this back in December of 2019. This was at your will that you were. I know you specifically made a lot of comment about trying to move that easement and that it should have been moved. We can't take that approach, especially on Lot 7. We can't put a house there right now. And we would like to operate within the existing permits that were issued following what was agreed upon, what we mapped out at that time
Okay,
with
one thing
your
first of all,
board. This is a
Scott, we're just
change,
talking
a
about
complete
Lot
change.
6.
Focus.
Are you all set, Scott?
Lose them.
I'm all set.
1 second, I'm going to still have the board
We have
members.
to let the board finish.
Okay.
To the mic, please.
Oh,
I can't hear.
okay. Sorry.
Okay, I'm old.
So
So
am I.
am I.
Okay, sir, we have to do all the board members and then the public. No, we still have Vanessa. So Vanessa, any questions?
I don't think I have any questions. I do agree that the changes that are on this plan, I think, are a little more substantial than something I would like to see come in under an amendment. I think that it's getting a little bit beyond the scope of minor. So I kind of agree with the rest of the board on not being sure that this could be handled under an amendment.
Okay, all set, Georgia? Vanessa?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Okay, Mr. Colantonio?
For the record, John Colantonio, representing Beaverbrook LLC. So I just want to thank the commission for.
John, can you speak louder into the mic? Sorry. We just want to make sure it's on.
Asked to speak louder.
There you go.
Thank you. John Colantonio, for the record, representing Beaverbrook Woods LLC. Want to thank the commission for having us back. I'm not an engineer. I'm not a wetlands expert. I'm a developer, and it took 2 years to get this subdivision approved. We spent a lot of time in front of this commission, a lot of time in front of the planning board, and we walked away with 8 lots approved. Those 8 lots right now have sewer, water, electric, all stubbed in, all approved and inspected by town of Danvers and every department. And people that have purchased into this subdivision expect 8 houses. Now, I know everything I just said has really nothing to do with the Conservation Commission, does it? But the Conservation Commission also represents Danvers, and we're building a high-quality 8-house subdivision that's absolutely beautiful. We get so many compliments about it. And me, myself, we just want to complete it and finish it. As many of you know, I named it after my father for 25 years of being a veteran. And I just want to do a quality job, and I want to make the commission and the other boards proud of what they approved. So with that said, I respect the commission's thoughts that we have to do an NOI. We don't have that opportunity or chance to do that, to do another NOI. So though we have 2 separate hearings with Lot 6 and Lot 7, it's very important that you see both on what's going on. Maybe there's some type of compromise that we can reach on the lot that we're on. I'm just throwing out an idea. We do away with the pool. That's just one example. Something that might make the commission, where it's not as much of a major change, where you think it has to go to a new NOI. More than willing to try to work together on that, and that would be helpful. And I'm not sure if we could look at the other lot before we make any type of decision on this one, so the commission could just see what we're dealing with on both lots. Mr. Chair, I don't know if that's something that could be
Well,
allowed.
we want to keep them separate, but
I understand they have to be
gist of our
separate.
argument is that it's a big change. You know, we approved plans, you know, you had a footprint for a house and it was outside for the most part, of the riverfront area. Now, you've like, at least on this particular lot, it's 10 times more work inside the riverfront area. And then Scott's saying that you're moving driveways and this and that. So a lot's gonna change there, and we're just asking for an NOI. Chances are, we're gonna approve it, but we just wanna see the details.
We need detail.
I'm probably speaking for myself again. So, I mean, I'm kind of frustrated to hear you say that an NOI is an impossibility.
Well, Mr. Chair, through you, may I ask Mr. Spillane a question?
Can you say again?
Can I ask Mr. Spillane a question through you?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So the chair just mentioned that there's a chance that it would be approved if we went with a new NOI. What's your
I can't
opinion?
say that. I'd have to see it.
But let's pretend that we did a new NOI and you're looking at exactly what you're looking at. I don't want to waste,
I'm only going to comment on what's before us, and I'm against this. And I went on record as it, and I'm not changing my mind.
Mr. Spillane, I'm not asking, sir.
Because of, you raise issues about a mortgage or a lender, or that you did a beautiful job. It's a significant, it's significant encroachment into the area that we didn't know about before. There's much more construction involved. The fact you changed the runoff and the water in the driveway doesn't impact what
Mr.
you're
Spillane, I
showing us
completely
here.
respect what you're saying, and that's your opinion, and I respect that. Now, with that said, what I was asking is, if we're all going to go through another NOI,
I'm not going to answer his question.
you don't have to
Please
answer the
move
question.
on.
Could I finish? Could I finish?
No.
Listen, it's usually.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, may I finish?
If you're not asking a question, if you're just making a statement, go ahead.
My question is,
No more questions.
my question is, if we're going to go through a whole new NOI, and we're going to come back with the same plan, but except we're just filing it differently, that's my terms, as an NOI, I don't want to waste the commission's time or our time if we're going to be back to the same thing where we're not going to approve
It all
it.
has to be checked out. and
Well, he
that's why
shouldn't
we
have
have the
said
staff
we
to
were
do that.
going to approve it, because we don't know that.
So you're speaking for the chair now.
I'm just saying, we don't know.
He's saying that you probably
So
disagree. So,
we understand that both lots are separate. I think it would be important for you to see the other lot. I know you have to keep them separate before we do anything on this. That's all I'm asking,
Right.
is to take a look at the other lot, and maybe we can come back to this for a minute.
I don't think that's the point. The point is, you folks are, you want to make significant, substantial changes and have us approve it under an amendment,
But everyone's missing the point of why we have to make changes.
because you want to sell the property.
No. Of course we want to sell the property, that's a given. But we, in this commission, as Scott mentioned, talked in length on multiple meetings, including the final one in December of 2019 that you approved everything, about the easement situation. No one expected the easement not to be moved, not this commission, not us. It's not our fault or the commission's that the town didn't move that easement.
I'm
If the-
not sure what easement you're even discussing.
Mr. Chair, I don't understand how we cannot know what easement that we're discussing, because it's the easements that technically create this problem for all of us, that none of us, when it was approved, expected. So,
Can I ask, sorry to interrupt, can I ask Scott to put the plan back up and he's talking about the right of way, Mr. Chair. There's kind of two different terms for it, but maybe if Scott could show the plan, that might help. Thank you.
The plan for the right-of-way.
Peter, David can also talk about the right-of-way if you would like him to.
Okay.
Scott, could you just point out the easement we're talking about? So,
And that easement is between lots 6 and 7.
yes, it cuts through them, yes. And that's not something that any of us expected at the time of these approvals.
And this easement was denied by the Board of Selectmen, is that what I heard?
That's correct.
When?
Sometime in 2020.
So since we approved those.
That's correct.
Well, so the easement is on the ground Mr. Chair. So the easement's on the ground. It's been there since I can't remember the dates, 50s or 60s. It's been there a while. The rights to it are questionable. It's poorly worded. It doesn't appear to have any rights past even the property, so it can take it to the stone wall behind Lot 6. What we had proposed at the time was to relocate the easement to the right-of-way. It would be there anyways, and then extend a new easement granting full light rights out to the fieldstone wall. And there's an abutting open space parcel owned by the town of Danvers. I believe Fox Run is the name of it. Out there, and to grant that public access point out to that area. Unfortunately, that request was, there was no interest in doing that at the time.
Well, Scott, let me interrupt there for a second. And I'm just, tell you how it is. We were told that it was going to be moved by the planning department verbally. I would have done things much differently if we weren't told that. It was just a technicality that we had to, in the future, go in front of the Board of Selectmen. And then that didn't happen. But that's okay. I want to waste the board's time
You're saying
with all that.
all this has happened since we approved the order of conditions, and you said that we were part of this discussion, and I don't see how those two.
Mr. Chair, we talked about the easements with you and the board about them being moved. That was part of our discussions
I do not
with all
recall.
you.
But
But it was so long ago, I'm sure everyone doesn't remember, and that's okay. But here's my question to the commission. If we do away with the pool, and we cut this back a little bit, we don't go out as far, we don't go as back to where it was, is that something that you might be able to live with?
I'm sorry, when you walked away from the microphone, I couldn't hear you anymore. Sorry.
I apologize. What I was saying is, if we did away with the pool and we pulled back a little bit, like split the difference between where it was to where we're suggesting, if that might be a more realistic thing for the commission, if we showed you something like that. We're trying to reach a happy medium that's a win-win for everyone.
But that's outside of what we're here to talk about. You came with an amendment request for this particular plan that I'm looking at.
Mr. Chair, how is it outside of what we're talking about? You're saying, and we're hearing it for the first time tonight, because it's the first time we're discussing this whole thing, that you think this is way too much. It needs a new NOI because we're making it too big, and we got the pool
No, 'cause
and all that.
You've made substantial changes.
Right, substantial
I'm
changes.
not arguing the big or the small.
And well, the bigness is the substantial change, the pool is the substantial change. So what I'm asking is, I'm asking the opinion of the commission, if we shrink the change and we get rid of the pool, would that be helpful to the commission?
It probably would be helpful, but I want to see it in a plan.
Absolutely.
Excuse me, can I ask
Absolutely.
staff a question? Wouldn't he have to refile and show us a different amendment, withdraw this one?
Yes. Or you could update the plan, but it depends on exactly what you're changing.
So
And
you
I-
want to withdraw the amendment?
No, Mr. Splain, I want to amend what we've submitted so the board can see exactly what we're talking about. But again, this isn't abnormal. I'm in front of a lot of boards. To ask the board to say, is that worthwhile for us to do and amend and come back to you? Because I agree, you need to see it in black and white. You can't just approve an idea. But is that going to be more amendable to the board? So we're not wasting time, you're not wasting time. We're not another month down the road and we're back to the same discussion. That's all I'm asking.
Well, you're asking for us to negotiate in this forum.
Negotiate,
And this isn't a place for it.
I'm asking for the commission's opinion. I have a right to do that as an applicant. That's done at every meeting. I've seen you guys do it a million times. So are you telling, Mr. Chair, are you telling me right now, representing this commission, that you won't give me an opinion if we shrink this and get rid of the pool? That might be something that the board could look at if we amend it?
Put it in an NOI, please.
Why would we have to put it in NOI? If we're going to put it in NOI, we're going to keep it the way it is.
Excuse me, sir. This is our hearing, okay?
No,
No, listen.
it is your hearing, but it's also, with all due respect, I'm the applicant. So it's also my hearing.
That's fine, but we're saying that this is not going to go through as an amendment. And that's up to our discretion.
So wait a minute, now you're changing what you said earlier.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. So you're saying that the only way that you're going to look at this at all, no matter what we do, is an NOI.
Probably true.
Yes. So if we came in here with the exact same footprint, a few inches out this way, right? Tonight, you're saying that would be a new NOI? We'd have to do a new NOI?
Yes.
So, we'll ask for a continuance on this lot, but before you do that, I don't want to take any more time at the microphone till we get to the next lot, but I noticed a lot of people on the Zoom. So I think the commission should give the general public an opportunity, because I don't know who's out there, good, bad, or indifferent.
They'll have their chance.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anyone else in the public have any comment or questions? Mr. Duggan?
Sorry. Oh,
Did Vanessa want to talk?
I'm sorry?
Did Vanessa have something she wanted to add?
I think was another resident that was ready to
Okay.
speak, but Mr. Duggan's going to go first, and then the next person can go.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's Matthew Duggan from the Select Board. The easement is something that was vetted, I believe, by the town attorney, Dave DeLuca, and it runs to the stone wall at the Fox Run Conservation Area, through the front yard of Lot 7 and the backyard of Lot 6. And there was a comment, I think, that questioned whether or not that was a legal easement and whether or not anyone actually had access to use it. That shouldn't be in question. So I'm asking, just want to point it out on this, point it out on the map here. We still have this pointer here somewhere. So has this area here been modified at all? Is that part of this expansion into the riverfront? Has this easement, has it been modified, or what is the plan for the easement in terms of the vegetation? Because that's important to know from conservation perspective, and also from an access perspective. So
Georgia, do you know? No?
How it's been maintained?
I can answer the question.
Go ahead.
Mr. Duggan, first of all, no one on my team, including Scott, questioned the legality of the easement. The interpretation of the easement is what in question, and you actually said it yourself at the mic. The way the easement is written is no structure can be built on that easement. We can't, if you notice, the house stops at the easement. We can't build into the easement. But you can't go over the way it's written, and we've had attorneys look at this, Fidelity Title Insurance attorneys look at it. You can't go over the wall at the end of the easement. So the easement doesn't, in our opinion, this is our opinion, do what the town wanted it to do, where you'd have access to the Fox Run Woods to give you access in the future possibly to the rail trail whenever it's built. That's why we thought it was a better option. We'll move the easement and have it all written up the right way, so you never have to worry about it, and you could cross the wall. But that never succeeded. So, two things. It's a legal easement. We can't build on it, and nothing would be built on it. How it can be kept? The lawn could be mowed. Bushes could be planted, whatever. But whatever's there, if the town decides to do something with it, they could do something with it, and they don't have to replace it. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you.
So that's fine. So the easement here, I think the reason, and I'm just speaking for myself, I think the selectmen weren't willing to really give this up because they originally expected to use the property at 321R, which is blocked now by the retaining wall for the road. And so there's not really an opportunity for the public to gain access into that area. So, but it's just something to keep in mind, that the easement is important and that it should be protected. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Are there people out in the public, out in cyberspace?
Would anyone that's on the Teams application like to speak? You could
Hi
just
there.
state your name and your address, please.
Hi, my name is Johan Hunter, and I'm located at 12 Cherry Street.
All right, go ahead.
I just wanted to indicate that I am one of the future residents of this subdivision. And when we were made aware of the opportunity to live in this area, we were really excited about the opportunity to be in a new community. And one of the things that attracted us to the area was the number of homes and the number of families that we would be around, being around, the total of 8 homes, so that we would have a community there. So it's kind of unsettling that there is some pushback to that full community size, because it's not initially what we were made to believe was approved, and we're hoping that there will be some reconsideration of that for the residents, so that we can have that community feeling, that we were really seeking to have in that area.
Okay, all set? Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, this is John Park. I'm at 18 Columbus in Beverly. I'm also, my family and I, we're going to be one of the future residents at the subdivision as well. And without repeating everything that Johan said, I wanted to second everything she said. We were looking forward to moving here. We saw the plans for all the lots, and we have a young family, with young kids, and we know that there's going to be other families with similar demographics. I'm not an expert in conservation or, engineering or any of this stuff. And we're just, trying to get our house built, and to know that potentially 2 families, I think you're talking about lot 6 right now, and then you're going to talk about lot 7, are going to be detrimentally affected by, what you guys are talking about with, delaying things further. This was told to us that this was all kind of all set to go years ago, and that a lot of time and effort, money, was put into this by not only, John, but, the team of people that he's working with. It would be great if we could all just somehow come to some sort of compromise. I understand, that this design looks, differently than the original design, but I'm learning a lot right now that, it's because of this easement thing that didn't go through, that they expected to. And so I think they're making compromises to change the design, to kind of, make sure that the easement for the town has, its sovereign rights and whatever. And also, I understand conservation is important, the environment's important. I don't want to be part of anything that skirts any of these laws that were put into place. But it seems like, again, I'm not on the board and I can't make these decisions. But from my standpoint, looking at it, it seems like a pretty minor, change, especially when John's saying maybe, we can get rid of the pool and maybe pull it back a little bit. Again, I don't know what an NOI is and what an amendment is, but it seems like the NOI is a much more strenuous process with, more time, money, and effort. I don't know. I just think, as a future resident of Danvers, I think you guys want to have us start paying some real tax dollars when these houses are all built. Right now I've been just paying taxes on, amount of dirt, but I know that tax revenue is going to go up, especially when all the houses were built. So that's just my 2 cents. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We hear your concerns, but our charge is to protect the wetlands. And we just, like I say, we're just seeing this as too big of a change. Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
Yes, hello?
Okay, was it G?
Gerard? Yeah, Gerard Festa. I'm at 70 Mill Road in Revere. I don't want to repeat what John and Johan just said, but I also bought in the subdivision. I just want to keep it short. It would just be nice to see it move forward, and the board and John just come to terms if we can make those 2 lots work. I don't know what changes you guys have to do to make it work. But I also have a family, kids, and we were excited with the 8 houses to be built there. Like I said, that NOIs, I don't know anything about any of that stuff, but if it could be completed at a sooner time, just to see these houses get put up and moved into, it would be nice to see that done. And thank you for giving me the time to speak.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for your comments. Mr. Bradstreet, did you have something you'd like to say? We decide we can just skip the next one and just be done with it. I don't want to go through all this again.
Bill Bradstreet, Town Meeting Member, Precinct 1. I'm not sure how close to what's going on is going to matter. The town has easements, rights of way. The town owns a lot of property. I've never been in favor of the town relinquishing rights to, however, any of this property. They're not making any new property. And anything that compromises what the town has should not happen. I just can't see the town relinquishing anything. If that's germane to what's been said tonight, I certainly hope it is, but you have to understand, I've lived in town all my life, and every time I turn around, I see a development going here, development going there. That's one thing. But when it encroaches, or whatever, on town-owned property, whether we own it, have an easement, right of way, I'm not in favor of it. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does. But
Thank you.
It's
not the gist of
it's
what
not-
we're-
it's
It's not the
in our
gist of what we're
jurisdiction.
doing tonight, but the
Okay, well, that's why I wanted to speak up. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone else online?
Peter, I believe there's one person with their hand raised.
CB has their hand raised. Go ahead.
Hi, good evening, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. Thank you so very much. I'm a Danvers resident and a small business owner in town.
Sorry,
And
you
I'm
get your name,
building
sir?
on Lot 5, and I've been tracking this project for quite some time as a
Excuse me,
real
sir?
estate
Sir, excuse
agent
me
as
just one
well.
second.
What's your name?
And I'm with the other future neighbors, I'll call it, as to this plan really needs to come together. And I'm sure we can figure it all out somehow. Thank you for your time, and I really am looking forward to moving into my new family house with my 2 kids and wife. Thank you.
What was your name? You never said your name.
Chris Blazak,
Okay.
And your
Thank you,
address?
Chris.
158 Holton Street.
Okay, thank you. I see another hand. It's Chris. I can't read the best.
Yeah, that was him.
Oh, that was
We
him.
got it.
That's him.
Chris Blazak.
Okay,
Yep, all set.
so we're all set.
Yeah.
Anything else? Anyone else? No? Okay, so we're going to, actually, we have to vote to close the public hearing first. So if someone can make a motion,
I'm going to vote.
You can vote if you ask, well,
give me an opinion, please.
Ready to
If
vote?
the applicant is requesting a continuance, you guys can then vote on that continuance request.
So we either vote on denying or approving the amendment
Continuance
request,
request.
or we can vote on continuing the hearing.
David, are you here?
Yep. Yeah, you could, well, if you want to, you could continue. You could close the public hearing if you'd like and make a vote. That's completely up to the commission. If you've heard all that you think you need to hear on the amendment request as proposed on the plan submitted, you could close the public hearing and vote.
We're just asking for a continuance based on what has been said tonight, so we can go back and regroup to see if it's an NOI, or we try to go back to the original build, or I think that's only fair. So I hope that the commission at least, gives us that opportunity.
It's to help with, some legal notices and things like that, having to go through that again. So it would be appreciated. We would like to go back and take a closer look at things.
I think the point here is that the type of changes are not amenable to an amendment. And you talk about, yes, we do make compromises, but it's within a notice of intent, not within an amendment on something substantial. I'm ready to vote on this.
Mr. Splain, we've heard the board loud and clear. All we're asking is to let us, after everything that you've said tonight, to go back and regroup, and that's not an unusual request.
I think you've heard from us that we're not going to approve an amendment.
Yes, we have.
So if we deny the amendment, you can still build to your original plans, or you can go get an NOI to us and try to get on the agenda for the next meeting.
Though I'm not an engineer and though I'm not on the commission, I know how it works. So I respect the commission's comments. I'm just asking the commission to respect us in regard to, we're just asking for a continuance. I don't think that is a lot to ask for. We have years invested in this. Years.
I'm sure you do.
So what's, and I don't mean to take it lightly, but what's a big deal for a continuance?
Because we're not in favor of an amendment. If you come back with another amendment, we're just wasting time.
Who said that we're going to come back with another amendment? We don't know, Mr.
Well, then
Splain.
let's deny this and come back with a notice of intent.
Well, maybe you continue it and we come back with a notice of intent. Like, I don't understand what the problem would be to continue it.
You would have to either withdraw or get a decision. You can't go from an amendment to an NOI.
I'm sorry,
I didn't understand what you said, David. I'm sorry.
I just said you're arguing that you're going to go from an amendment to an NOI. You either need to withdraw or get a decision.
Right, but if they continue it and then we decide to withdraw because we're going to do an NOI, we can do that. All we're asking is some time to regroup based on what the commission told us tonight. So we understand, David, and I appreciate you explaining that, but we understand that, and that's why we're asking for a continuance.
well, that doesn't, I don't buy that logic. So I'm of the mind, let's just vote on the amendment request, either yay or
And then
nay.
move to close
And
the-
then if
close the
you,
public hearing.
obviously you have to, you're going to do something, because you still have the property you're trying to sell. But this amendment is not going to fly.
We have to move to close the public hearing.
Well, he's asking for something first, as part of the public hearing.
I'm just simply asking for a continuance, that's all. We heard the board loud and clear
Okay,
tonight.
well, I think the vote, I'm going to say, and I think we're just going to vote on the amendment tonight. And then, you can do what you need to do following that.
And I hope the board doesn't close the public hearing.
I'm not sure what are you trying to gain by keeping the public hearing open? You're just going to come back with another one. Let's just get this one finished.
Mr. Chair,
I'm going to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Wait till I call for a motion. Let's just,
Mr. Chair, we understand what the commission has requested of us. We've listened loud and clear. All we've asked is for a continuance, which I think the commission, out of respect to us, should allow. And what David explained, we understand. And that's all we've asked. It's really that simple. So we can move on to the next lot.
well, there's no disrespect intended, so don't don't think that they're,
There's no other way that I could take it if you don't allow the continuance.
sorry, but,
Take it that way.
okay, so,
Mike made a motion, I just want to remind the commission of that.
say again?
That Mike did make
He's
a
in the-
motion, I just want to
Yeah,
make
so
sure
now,
that.
we're going to close the public hearing.
I make a motion to close, I make a motion that we close the public hearing.
I second the motion.
All in favor of closing the public hearing? Aye.
I make a motion now that we,
On the amendment
we
request.
we deny the amendment request for DEP file number 14-1332.
Motion's been made, is there a second?
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Okay, so that is denied. So do we want to go on to item 4, which is a similar hearing? Continued public hearing for Lot 7, Colantani Drive, DEP file number 14-1333. If the applicant wants to make the same presentation again, they can. Otherwise, the board will vote again as we did on Article 3.
Well, are you asking me? I just want to make sure I understand.
Well, I mean, Scott had a whole long presentation on Lot 6, and now we're on to Lot 7. If he wants to make that same presentation.
No, we'll
he's
just
welcome
ask,
to.
because of everything that's happened tonight, again, we need to go back and see what's going on. So we'll just ask to not take up any more of the commission's time. We'll ask for a continuance on Lot 7, please.
Okay, that your request is duly noted. As this is a public hearing, is there anyone in the public that has any comments, questions? Georgia, do we have the screen where we can see if people are asking?
I don't see any hands raised.
Okay, so I'm ready to have this public hearing closed. So if someone can make a motion. And if people
Make
are-
the motion to close this public hearing.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so now we're going to vote on the amendment request itself. So if someone can make a motion, whether we're going to approve it or deny it.
I'll make a motion that we deny the amendment request for DEP file number 14-1333.
Okay, the motion's been made. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yes, that motion is denied. So you can do what you feel is the right thing to do moving forward.
So if I may,
Those
Mr. Chair, I just want to make sure, as, the stupid guy that I am, I understand what just took place. So, the first lot that we talked about has been denied, and the public hearing has been closed. The second lot has been continued, with the public hearing still open, correct?
No.
No, we denied both. We just voted on closing the hearing for Article 4. We closed the hearing, and then we
No
voted on
input.
the amendment request, and it was denied.
So, you closed the public hearing before we made a presentation on it.
I asked if you wanted to do that, and you didn't say that you wanted to.
No, you gave the impression that you were going to allow the continuance.
Well, that's your interpretation. That's not what I was trying to convey. Not even close.
So, just for the record, I want the commission to, you just closed the public hearing before you even heard a presentation.
Well, closing the hearing is up to the
He did
discretion of
offer
the
that.
chair.
Explain, do you have any questions about our finances, on what it costs us to do things? Because at other public hearings that I wasn't able to attend, you brought some questions out. I'd be glad to answer
John, I
them.
don't think this is, the public hearing is closed.
It's over.
And I think we're on to the next item.
Okay, so you've had your chance. So the
No,
hearing is done.
that's the problem, Mr. Chair. We didn't have our chance. Thank you, though.
You're welcome. On to old and new business. We have, tentatively, we have 89 North Street, or wherever it is, 69 North Street.
69.
For the next meeting, which we're proposing for 11/18.
11/18, and 100 Water Street has also requested to extend to that date as well. And I believe that we have one agenda item pending, they haven't fully submitted yet. So that is something else that would also be on the 18th.
So we have to vote if we want to have that, because it's out of our normal schedule.
Yes, I would just make that, we can make that official for the record, as the commission
Okay,
says.
so if someone can make a motion that we have our next, because of holiday conflicts, we can't meet on either the second or the fourth Thursday. So It's been proposed that we meet on November the 18th, which is the Thursday in between. So if someone can make a motion to that effect, we can go from there.
I make a motion that we have the November meeting on November 18th for the Conservation Commission to hear the particular,
Okay,
yeah,
the agenda that Georgia will
to
put
the
together
agenda,
for us.
right, to our
Okay.
tentative agenda. Okay.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I'll note that that will be here at 7 PM,
7
7
PM.
p.m.
regular
18th.
place and
In
time.
my book.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else, Georgia, for new business?
No, that is all.
No site visits? Wow. Okay, so that's 3 weeks from tonight then. Okay, someone want to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion that we adjourn the public hearing.
I
hoping for
second
Vanessa.
that.
Okay, motion's been made. Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank
Thank
you all.
you.
Say aye.
Thanks,
Are we
everyone.
off? Are we
Have
off?
a good evening.
Give it a couple seconds, please. And do remember the open meeting law. I will just remind that.
Yeah, so whatever's been said, that's...
Oh, no, I was just gonna say it was probably the most contentious.
Good job,
one.
guys. I think you did a great meeting.